recommendations tag, and this is a really good one. I've been looking forward to doing this one. And it's an original tag created by Ellen at Ellen Made Book Club in celebration of her 1 year anniversary. Congrats, Ellen. And I was tagged by Pat at Book Chat with Pat, and I like these kind of complicated tags and back and forth and up and down, and you can do this or you can do that, or have choices. Hey, do you like my shirt? I was wearing it today in celebration of the fact it was 70 degrees in Portland. If that was our winter, we had snow for, I think, a day and a half, and the rain took it away, and now it's spring. I can get used to this. Prompt 1. Response. The person who tagged you recommended a book for you in their video. Let us know what book that was, if you have read it before or since, and if you think it was a good recommendation for you based on having read it or the description of it. If you haven't been tagged, you can skip this prompt and respond to somebody's general recommendation in prompt 4. So in prompt 4, I'll have 3 general recommendation books. But in this prompt, Pat recommended 3 books from Donald Ryan, a writer, Irish writer I've not heard of. I've looked him up since, and I've gotten a couple of his books. One, The Queen of Dirt Island, she highly recommended. There's another one that takes place in Dublin I'm going to get to. Then she recommended from Colm Tobin on Elizabeth Bishop, because I like One Art. It's a villanelle from her that is my gravestone poem. If I would put it up on my gravestone or marker, but I'm being sealed in an aluminum canister and rocketed into the orbit. So there will be no marker down here for me. But Elizabeth Bishop is not one of my favorite poets. She's not. I don't know her work hardly at all, except for that one poem, One Art, which I've loved for decades. 2, return the favor. Recommend a book back to the person who tagged you or whose video you watched, and tell us why you chose that book for that person. Well, interesting story. I just mailed Pat a book, and she just got it today. You know how fast Amazon is. And it's a copy of The Dream Songs by John Berryman. And guess what? I used to have not 1, not 2, but 3 copies of this book. But I sent the other one a couple of years ago to my friend Flossie at Book Jelly Library, Great Jelly Library even. And my friend Greg, another Bibliophile Reads, reminded me that 3-4 years ago, when he first came to BookTube, I had a group on John Berryman's Dream Songs. And there's a playlist below, so thanks for reminding me, Greg. And we're going to have another read along sometime this year or next on John Berryman's Dream Songs. One of my favorite American poets. I can't talk tonight. And another great poet, Norman Dubie, turned me on to John Berryman. John Berryman met W.B. Yeats. He writes about Ireland. He came up with his own form of writing poems. And it's an amazing book. So, and I think that answers prompt 2. Prompt 3, pay it forward. Choose 3 to 10 booktubers that you want to tag. Recommend a book to each of them and tell us why you think they would like it based on their reading habits or tastes in the book. Okay, I have several books to hold up, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 booktubers to mention. First booktuber I'd like to recommend a book to is Jim Mystery and Mayhem, and that's The Adventures of Cavalier and Clay by Michael Chabran. Now, we read this in a group. I think I read this twice. I'd read it again. I love this book. It's around comic books, so that's why I picked you, Jim. On the cover is Captain America hitting Hitler. You see, look closely. That was a famous cover. I know you know about it. So that's one rec. A second one is to Brian at Bookish. Now, Brian's recommended many books to me, um, from Seabolt, The Rings of Saturn, to At Night, All Blood is Black, and just thanks for all your kindness, Brian. But I bet you don't read a lot of horror, and this is kind of a horror, Native American flavored book. The Only Good Indians. I really enjoyed this book, and I'd read it again too. So I'd like to get your opinion on that. Let's see, next, Randy Ray. Now, Greg again, another Bibliophile Reads. We're going to buddy read another roadside attraction by Tom Robbins, who I started reading Robbins when I started reading like Vaudegan, which was probably middle school, beginning of high school. So Jitterbug Perfume might be my favorite Robbins book. And also, I would recommend, it's on the bottom over there, but Marlon James's Story of Seven Killings. So I think you would like that too. Bob Marley appears in that. And next we have Justin at Triumphal Reads, known for his historical reading and nonfiction. I think you would like my favorite Stephen King novel, 11/22/63. I think you would. It's chunky, but Stephen King reads fast. I don't even know if you've ever read a Stephen King book, Justin, but that's my recommendation to you. And last but not least, Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook, Breakfast of Champions. And I don't have a copy to hold up because I don't loan books to people. I give them away, but I have to get another copy because we're reading that in our Vonnegut reading group in another month, I believe. But Breakfast of Champions, it's my sentimental favorite Vonnegut book because I read it first. I must have read that book 5-6 times. It's a real joy. A lot of pictures in it too. The next prompt is that 4 open invitation. Recommend a book you think anyone would like, or that you think anyone should read. This recommendation serves as an open invitation to anyone who hasn't been tagged. So, I have 3. One is a book I read earlier this year. In fact, it was my first buddy read of January with Angelia at Read and Reread, and that was Beautyland. That was a great read. It was funny, interesting, kept me engaged, edge of my seat. It was original, so recommend that. 2, I'm going to recommend another roadside attraction. Now, Greg and I are reading this. I've read this a couple times, but I recommend this so you can join us. I forget when we're reading it. We don't have a schedule for this yet, so it's going to be later in the year. Maybe end of summer, September. And then I'm going to recommend this. It's opposite genre, flavor, 2666, or as I call it, To Hell, which the devil's not in it, but he might as well be. Sonoran Desert in Mexico, right around Nogales, Tucson, around there, brutal murders of young women, and the detectives who work on the case. very involved book, very interesting. A lot of history about this. It's like 5 books in one, but at Bolaño's death, they put it together. And also, I'm bringing this up because my mind's, I want to read The Savage Detectives. I've not read that yet. And lastly, what would it be? Sorry about that. A book everyone will like. I read this only one time, but I want to read it again. I read it twice. That's The Magic Mountain, Thomas Mann. This book blew me away. Yes, I read this in April and May on BookTube 2022. This is the latest translation by Johnny Woods. But yeah, so those are my recs and recommendations. I'm sticking to it. Now, so if you're watching this, you're tagged. If I tagged you, hopefully you'll get back with me and expound on the tag and like, subscribe, make a comment. I'll get back to you. I got to clean this place up, put my books back.